All right, please be joined this time by Coach Jeremy Ruark, defense coordinator at Cedartown, state runner-up this year. Had a great team, great season. Excited to talk to Coach about some everyday linebacker fundamentals and drills. Coach, thanks for joining me.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Coach. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna get out the way and get going, man. You played in the state championship game, I didn't, so let me get out of the way.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on here. We did have a great year this year, and really enjoyed. I really enjoyed being the defense coordinator for Cedartown. A great ran program. Just a couple of things here I just want to talk about. The linebacker production, our 2022 season linebacker production. We run a 3-4 scheme at linebacker. Sometimes we might jump in a 3-3 look. And typically what we look for is we usually look for like a big thumper at Mike linebacker, faster and taller kid. And for the wheel linebacker, usually the wheel linebacker makes a lot of the tackles. But the past couple of years, the past couple of years, we play with the 5'10" and 5'9" linebackers, but we're able to get by with it by certain things that we do. Our 5'10" linebacker, which was our wheel linebacker this year, he was 5'10", like 205. He had 187 tackles, 133 solo tackles, and 13 tackles for loss, 15 sacks. He was voted the best defense player in our region and All-State in multiple publications. So you don't necessarily have to have them huge in the 3-4. I mean, it can help, but you can train them up to get it done. And then our Mike linebacker, we played two different guys this year. Both were about 5'9". One was 175 pounds, while the other was around 200. The 200-pound kid got injured during the season, so I had to move the other kid in there, but he'd played it before. And they combined for 113 tackles, 71 solos, and 7 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. And the 175-pound one was voted first team all-area linebackers. And in order to do this, our linebackers fit well, play fast, and are physical. And that's just what we pride ourselves on, is those things, and that we lead the defense. We're going to make the most tackles. We're going to help make the checks. We're like the quarterback of the defense. I know you hear a lot of people talk about that, but we preach it, and our kids buy into it, and they believe in it. So we're going to go ahead and look at our first one. Everyday footwork, shimmy and counter steps. We do this every day, just a way to work the footwork, because obviously, as I talked about earlier, we don't always have like the 6'2", 6'3" guys, but we're going to work that footwork, and we're going to have great footwork, great hands, great eyes. So a shimmy, and everybody works a shimmy, working cylinder flow and profile tackle. I usually always try to finish it with some kind of tackling. That way it's more game-like. And the number one right there says pop step, but some linebackers just like sit there. I don't care which way they do it. I give them the option, whichever way they're more comfortable with it. Sit there or pop step, small quick steps with the shimmy, shoulder width base, a little wider than shoulder width base on the first sound. So they pop on first sound, second sound they shimmy down, and then the last sound they release and profile tackle. Counter steps, we read guards at Cedartown, but we work counter steps in case you get a false read or you're reading the zone, and that way you don't get yourself too far out of position, because I tell my linebackers, don't go until you know. So if they don't know, then don't go. Working small adjustments when players have a misread, keeping them square. On the first sound, players will take three 45-degree steps downhill to the right, then they'll go to the left, and vice versa until the second sound. Then they release and make a profile tackle. So right here, I got some practice clips, and these are the guy in the darker red shirt right there. He was one of the kids that got hurt last year. He'll be my only returner coming back, but he's about 215, 220 right now, but he'll be a thumper. But this right here is just working our shimmy steps. This isn't our normal cage. I'd already taken it apart and stored it up for the winter. So when I made these clips, we pulled this one. I just got in the D-line cage and we repped it. Same concept, just a linebacker cage and chute. It's a little bit longer in the width and everything. So as you'll see, like pop step, release, and profile tackle, clubbing up. That way you work on a finish every time. So that was a pretty good group right there. Those guys have been with me for a couple of years. The guy in the green pants right here, he played outside backer, but I'm gonna try to train him up to be an inside linebacker this year. So you see her pop, profile tackle. Notice right there, he's chest up tackling the guy in the blue pants, but we want a little bit quicker drive with that inside foot right there. So they can sit or pop, and then the shimmy, quick shimmy downhill, and then explode. Everybody at the inside linebacker works the shimmy step. Moving on to the next clip. These are our counter steps. This is actually a lot better when I have my other linebacker shoot out because they get a little bit more release. But right here, we can look 45, 45, explode. Now, normally right there, as they're doing the 45, 45, I'll give them a second hit and they explode out. That way they're fitting and exploding, fitting and exploding. So to start them off, and we coach some middle school guys as well at Cedartown, and I have to like break it down and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 to the right, 3 to the left, 3 to the right, 3 to the left. And it could be more than that in the game, but you're trying to get those kids to understand that footwork and how the progression works as you go through that. So these are really good steps to help them readjust, keep their shoulders square, and then drive their hips up and through, clubbing up, and then tackle. So we got some game clips here of just kids coming downhill, using their footwork, and then finishing with a profile tackle. So we'll look at it from this thing right here. Look at number 7 right here. That's the kid that we talked about that got hurt. Right here, he sees the open window. He doesn't fit quite tight enough. See, the still got some space there. But I'll tell them if they see a play, then don't wait on the blocker to spill it or whatever. If they see it, they can go make it. So he comes and makes it. Nice tackle, fitting it up, driving his inside foot through, or near foot, near shoulder. He drives up and through, boom, and takes him down. Nice foot drive. Same thing we're working in our drills. Right here, we got a nice little 4th and 1 against our other side rival. It's a lot better when you look at it from the back view. Number 12 right here. This is the kid that had 187 tackles. I won't have him next year, but he'll be at West Georgia. But right here, his nice little fit. He sees the open window. He gets a little high, but he sees the open window. He's square, coming downhill, fits it up, runs through, drives his feet. That's one thing we had to work with him is he had good feet, but he liked to get high at times. But he had great instincts as well. Right there, nice profile tackle. We look again right here. Well, let me run it back. You can't really see that from the end zone. It got kind of – so we're looking at 7 right here, the counter step right here. He works his feet over, boom, 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 and then sticks his foot in the ground and starts working back. So that's just an example of a counter. I believe this is another – no, that's the cylinder flowing. We'll get the back view. That one's kind of hard to see. I think this is against Calhoun, I believe. This may be right. No, this is right mark. Right here, he's works flat. He's got a little 45 downhill, and then he comes and fits it up with a nice profile tackle. Let's see right here what we got on this one. This is a great shimmy step out of 12. Look right here, as you see, it's a little zone play, a little mid zone. He's holding, we'll get to some of this later. He's holding on the backside for cutback quarterback. He shimmies downhill, works that counter 45, sticks his foot in the ground, works back, profile tackle. My other linebacker here got too far down inside, but he's still fighting with his hands, a little smaller, but keeping the guy off of him. Here's a back view of the 45, works, comes back, great footwork, staying square, doesn't give him a chance to get by him by turning our shoulders. Another view Have a nice counter. This is by number 1. This is the 175 pounder. Just playing the mic. As you can see right there, he's working. He's working flat, keeps his footwork, keeps tracking the ball carrier, tracking his near hip, and then he finishes with a profile tackle, which his eyes are up a little bit more right there. Obviously, you saw in the drill work we work that every day. Right here, we can watch from the back. Crosses over, we don't really work that much unless it's quick flow or fast flow. Right there, he works his 45, comes and fits and drives his feet. So just everyday footwork because they need it every day. Right here, this is against, not sure, I think that might be North Oconee. We'll watch this from the back view. 12's working his feet and works back in. Finding that open window, fitting it. Look at 1 right there. That's good by 1. He's counter, cuts back, sees the ball carrier, boom. All that footwork staying square. All right, here's a good one in the state game. He gets fooled. He gets fooled because my backside linebacker here, 1, doesn't call out the puller. He doesn't never see the puller. We work every day. You'll see later when we're working that. If he gets to see the puller, he's hollering pull, 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 because that helps him recognize that that's a down block or that's a scoop. So if he hears pull, he knows it's down. He can fit quicker. But he didn't say anything. He's 45, works back, boom, profile. Well, it was more of an angle tackle, but same concept, staying square and finishing. All right. Next, we got block destruction, progression. We got push, pull, rip. And I'll talk about it more when we get in there. Don't want to read too much. It's for somebody that just want to like take a picture of it or have some words to go along with it. People learn stuff different ways. We got the same thing, but they don't fall out of it right here. Power steps right there. We're going to talk about each one of these. Right, left. That's just taking on a block and finish from the right, finishing on the right. And then we got left to right and right to left. So right here, get started. This is push, pull, rip. Right there, as he's exploding. And notice one thing right here. And when we do explosion right here, we don't put their toes underneath them because I want to really work that hip explosion instead of their feet being curled up underneath them. Even when we're working our little explosion, and it's not on here, but we do that as well. But he's fitted up. He's going to push, extend his hips, pull, rip, and then fall to the ground. This is just teaching him to work his hands because, again, like we had the 175-pound kid, so he needs to have great hands. He needs to work push, pull, rip in order to get past them. And the strike and get past, because his strike's not going to be as much as the 200-pound kid, but he can have good feet and good hands and still have the same outcome. So there's our push, pull, rip. Here's another example. Push, pull, rip. And that's my new kid. Obviously, you saw he didn't get his hips all the way through. Look right here. Push, pull, rip. Right there. That's a good. We want to over-exaggerate that. Push, pull, rip. So he turns the pad at the top. Push, pull, rip. Boom. Right there. We're really working our hands, working our hips, and how exactly we want to do it. Be specific with it. There we go. Once again, I got him another shot at it. Push, pull, rip. That's a little bit better. He's a pretty quick kid. I think he'll be a good one. Just got to get him trained up. Right here. Now we're going to step out of it. So this is working, pulling himself by the blocker. He tried to stand up before he got extension here. You can see that. And he didn't get skinny when he was ripping, but you can get the gist of him pulling himself past the blocker. So this is a progression of starting with your hips and your hands, and now you're working, pulling yourself through. Right here, push, pull, rip. That's not too bad. The back foot got stuck in the ground a little bit. Let's see. Right here, push, pull, rip. He's going the other way. That was a little bit better. He slowed it down. That's fine. Off-season work, push, pull, rip, drive your foot. Just turn that shoulder a little bit more. Push, pull, rip. A lot of my young guys, my two seniors, are doing track and playing baseball, so I didn't have them for this drill tape. All right. Then we're going to work down on one knee. And this is working, getting that foot into the ground, our power step, stepping down the middle of them. So right here, step, boom, strike. And we're just going to work the strike, boom, coming out. Quick feet, choppy steps, boom, boom. Get them in the ground. Step and drive, step and drive. That's actually not a bad example of it. Right there. Right here is boom, boom. Just quick hands, get your feet down on the ground. And then now we're going to work the rip. He needs to be a little bit more precise with his hands right there, but not bad with his feet. And then sometimes some of them like to have that foot up. If they're comfortable with that, I don't care because I got time it up anyways in the game. Push, pull, rip. That's not bad. Need to get a little skinny, but he's progressing, and I've only had him a few days just working with him. Same thing. All right, now this is right to left. So right here, we're going to hit on the right side. You get stuck, and then you got to work back to the other side. So you see the ball carrier cut back. You're hitting on the right, buzzing your feet, working your hands, your hips, and working back across. So he's striking here on the right, works his feet across, boom. Needs a little bit more pull there. Get a little lower after it. But overall, not a horrible rep. Right here, boom, boom, boom. See, and we really even work turning your hips right here to over-exaggerate that. He needs to have a better rip off the end of that. But that's not bad. That's actually not too bad a rep up top. More strike, but not a bad rep up top. Strike, feet, and then rip. 1, 2, 3, boom. Just more turn there. Get them turned. And here's some examples of some bar protection. This will be a right to left. Look at 12 right here. You can see, boom, he's fitting them on the right side right now. Got them locked out, got extension, feet are moving. And then ball comes back, he works his feet, sheds them, gets it on tackle. All right. Another example right here. This is hard to see, but again, it's 12. Right, you can see them. A little draw play. Boom, makes contact, which is a little lower. Comes off, sheds, makes a tackle. See it from the backside. He played this one right. He actually misplayed it early, missed tackle, but this was pretty good right here. Uses his hands. See, that's the thing. I mean, his pad level is high, but he's using his hands. His feet are in the right spot. He's able to get off the block. Right here is another example. This is 12 once again. And I had some with 7. I thought I dropped them in here, 7 and 1. And they were doing it more, not as physical, but they were doing it more like just hand placement and foot placement. I probably add these in here for later on, just so I can show my kids with teach tape. Right here, watch 12. He does it right here. Boom, fits it, sheds, tackle. Here's another one. Right there. This is just, he strikes them, boom, and then that could be a right there, but he just finds the ball carrier, gets them off of him, finds the ball carrier. Sometimes it works like that with just a shot. See it from the back view. There it works. Strike, boom, good feet. Counter steps once again. Footwork comes into play there. Here's another example. This is a pretty nice one right here. We'll watch from the back view. There's 12 coming across. It's hard to see right there. It happened so fast. I'll try to slow it down a little bit. Right there, he's he's getting across the middle line. We're going to talk about that later. Obviously, his pad level's up, but he's going the right spot, staying square. Right here, takes it on the left side, keeps his feet working, jacks them up, explodes through, finishes with a tackle. All right, spilling technique or spilling teach. I mean, not everybody spills, but I like to do it, take away gaps. And we're going to talk about this more, but this film is not great, but I can talk about it as I go through it. When we do this right here, sometimes I use a dummy like this to teach it. We got pads on, we just have a person there. We do it on the one man, we do it on the 5-man sled just to get a little bit more thump. And then with this, I teach them thump and I teach them to get skinny and avoid. Sometimes everybody's gonna have to thump it and just fit it in there real tight. And then sometimes you fit tight enough off the down block, you can just turn and get skinny and get vertical flat. So that's what these dummies are here for. They turn, get skinny. My dummy holders don't do a great job of getting on the shoulder. They need to hit him on the shoulder so he feels that, so he has to turn his body. Then they get vertical, and then they get flat. They get vertical in case the ball carrier comes through here and to get past the pulling guard or the tight end. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And then once he gets vertical and the back bounces, then he gets flat to make a trail tackle. So we can see this right here, rip, vertical, and then finish up and through. He got in trouble right there because he didn't finish. We always club up and finish on the end. And then at times I'll have a dummy there. At times I'll have a ball carrier there to help them fit, and different drills just to try to change it up and do different surfaces right there and step up and through. So right here, rip, vertical, flat, right there. That's not a bad example besides the dummy holder, and he wants to do a cartwheel. Rip, so he don't rip. He was hurt all last season, but they got to work. So right here, good spill technique. This is a great one right here. It's a 12 again. He fits off the down block right here, pulling guards here. Right, so it's the H back, but it's the H back right there. The guard's kicking. He's coming. He's spilling. Boom, get vertical right there. In the tackle, gang tackle, everybody else. He fits off the last down, spill, tackle, boom. Right here. Another good one right here. More of he didn't have to thump it to make the play. We see 7's working across the midline, reading the back right here. As he sees the H-back flow, he's reading zone. He's sitting, playing that A-gap. Spill, boom. See how 12 fits it tight, spills it, there's nowhere for him to go. He just falls over to everybody else. All right, this is this drill right here, I call it open close window or open close holes, whichever one you want to talk. It works footwork, works reads, fitting tightly off the last down block. Because I think that's how we're able to get away with smaller guys, is because we fit tight. Everything we do, we're fitting tight off that down block, and so the kids know the tighter they fit, the easier it is for them to make plays, and they will get ate up by blockers. So right here, usually just set up dummies. I got a guard, tackle, tight end, and they're just fitting off the last down block. And then they're underneath the chute to work on pad level. So right here, you got open window, boom, big gap open. He fits it tight. So that's how we're working, just fitting off the last down block. Give them different reads, so you work the reads. Right there, C gap fit. Boom, fits it tight as he can. Right here. All right there, he fits it too wide. See on the end right there, he's got a puller and 2 down. So that's like buck sweep or belly G, down, whatever you want to call it. See how he stretches out, he's running to the puller. That's something that's sometimes hard to break on them. They just want to run to him instead of fitting off the last down, because linemen are big and slow. So if we fit tight off that last down, right off of my kid in red shorts right there, it's going to be hard for him to block me, and I can just get vertical and then get flat. Another example right here, he fits it better right there. They always want to rip off these down blocks because they're always working it, but they don't necessarily have to. Right here, right there, see, he hesitates. That's, again, you don't go until you know. Right here, B gap opens, he's a little wide. That's how you create space and give cutback lanes. So we just work fitting tight, fitting tight, fitting tight. Another example right here, pull, tight, boom. He knows it's vertical. That's where the play's at. And then he gets flat. So here's some examples of fitting off down blocks. This is probably better from the end zone. It's 12 again, tied off the last down. Boom, fits it. Now, technically, they're zoning up and doubling, but to him, that's a down and that's an out. So he's fitting tight. Boom, right there. Fits it up. Right here. Here comes the window. Boom, there's a window. Right there. Heats it up. You see it open. Boom, there's his window. They're comboing here, they're comboing there. There's his window. Fits it tight, right there to make the play. I don't know how we ended up with 2 end zone views, but we did in that game. We paid somebody, so. All right. Fits, GAT scheme fits, power counter buck. So this is just going through how we do it. I'm gonna talk about it as we go through it. But this is just in case y'all want to read through there. So right here, we got it set up. I have a center with a dummy, 2 guards and a tackle. Sometimes I'll have a tight end sitting out here as well. Sometimes I use the tackling donut to tackle to fit up on, and sometimes I use a back. And the reason I use a back, well, I'll talk about it in a second. So right here, down block fits tight, spills. He's coming up top. He's reading. He's getting as soon as he sees a puller, he's hollering out, pull, pull, pull. He's getting across the midline. Then as soon as he gets across the midline, and that's the center, he's tracking the back. So he's tracking the back. The back's going wide. He's getting wide and fitting off this down. He might have to spill the second guy. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if they running, so right here, this is simulating power. So we're gonna have a fullback kick. So, and we'll get to that in a minute, more of a counter. So the fullback comes and kicks, and our outside linebacker is late, and he'll spill the first guy, he'll spill the second guy. His footwork's getting a little bit too close together. Obviously, it's another young guy. They got to work it too. He spills, tie off last down block. There we go. Fit. Everybody working towards the tackle. Even though he didn't make a tackle, he's still working his hips. Here's another one. He's a little wide right there. So he fits a little tighter. Gets flat, finds it, fits it. He's tracking the ball carrier. Another power. Right here, we got tight end. So in this one right here, there's going to be space in C gap. So either one or 2 things happen. One thing is our pony is apex, or excuse me, outside linebacker is apex, or he's tight and doesn't get a great squeeze, and there's a bubble in C gap. We got to eat up any space. Right. So you sit down. Our rule is, as in the open close window, we fit off the last down block. So if there's space here, that's where he fits. So if he eats up that C gap, he's got to eat up inside the puller. Right. Fits, boom. Right there. Fit it. And so you still got outside linebacker, got safety help coming down. Everything's falling off the table to them. Everything's fitting tight, making everything bubble. And this is, again, fitting tight, having great reads, having great footwork, being physical, working those hips constantly. All these are what make our linebackers productive. And then when we start working it back, so see right here, working more buck sweep here. You got the C-gap bubble. He's fitting. Outside linebacker be taking on the kicker. Safety coming downhill. But he's tracking the back, and that's why I start using a body sometimes, is because if he sticks his foot in the ground, cuts back, he just shoves him across the midline and comes back and makes a play. Right here, we got Buck again. Just spill, work over the top, buddy tackle. And that's buddy tackles, just both of them making tackles. The same little concept here. Then we got counter, fit off the last down. So what this was showing is what I was talking about earlier. With the fullback on power, same concept here. You got a pin and a pull. And you got a kick and a wrap. So right here, if the outside linebacker's late, first linebacker gonna spill the first puller, second linebacker spills the second, meet at the ball carrier. Same concept here, counter, boom, boom. He's a little wide on that second one. All right here against Sequoia. This is a pretty good fit on this one. It's a little down play. Billy G, whatever you want to call it. Tomato. Right here, they bring the wing down. Now, I tell them with the wings, and we didn't see a wing a second ago, but with a wing, if there's space underneath the wing, then we eat it up. If he's coming flat down the line, we run right through his face. So it depends on if they're more arcing it or they're loading it. And if they're in between like this guy, the space is hit it. It's all about spacing. So we see right here, he's fitting it tight. Boom. He might got ate up, but he can't run it in there. My other linebacker's working over the top. We eat them up right there. There's a big mound of red jerseys. Right here, same team. Right here. Got a little power action. Fits it tight. Boom. Fits it up, makes everything bubble. There's a safety corner flying out to make a play. Watch from the back. Now, another thing right here. He doesn't really spill this, 7 doesn't. But a lot of times they get going downhill so fast, they outrun the puller. But again, like earlier, he makes a 7 made a play because he can beat the puller there. And that happens at times, but it's still being physical and knocking it back. Boom, right there. And then the 12 working over the top. He thinks the ball's coming right there, but he keeps bouncing. And then the safety's there, and it's a nice tackle for loss. Right here, this is against a little GH counter, whatever y'all call it. This is a pretty nice fit right here. Out of 12. C1's getting across the midline. 12's coming downhill off the last down. He spills it, gets underneath. See how tight he is? That guy doesn't even have a chance to block him. 12's so tight. 1's a little bit, he gets past the blocker. He needs to get his shoulders back square. 78 is a pretty big fella. He fits it up tight. He's ready if it bounces. 1 is, 12's eating it up. All right, zone fits, trade drill. Obviously, a lot of people do this. We use 2 to 3 offensive linemen. Most of the time, I just put a dummy down for the center if I'm working by myself. And at times, I'll get the O-line to come down and help me out with this. But if I'm just trying to get some quick reads, this is what I'll use, just a dummy, and I'll have 2 offensive linemen. I'll tell them where to go. And sometimes I use this linebackers to do it. They learn what we want to do. I use a linebacker, defensive lineman, and I'm using the quarterback, and then have a running back. It allows our LBs to work inside zone, mid zone, split zone. And then we do it a couple ways without, I mean, this is obviously without blitzing. We got blitzes for zones, but this is just reading it out. Because, I mean, if you can't read it out, then to me, you don't need to blitz it. So we work a lot of reading it out. The nose cuts off the opposite A gap, and the LB away from the back, cross fits the zone, LB to the back, sits and plays cut back, the fall off with cutback quarterback. And then the A is really cutting off the nose is really cutting off the zone in that opposite A gap. And then the nose fits, another way we play it is the nose fits A gap to the back. LB away from the back is going to fit the front side A gap with A gap away from the back. It's a little bit faster when the nose slants to the back, if that A gap opens up, than he is if the nose cuts it off, because you want to read the back, see where he goes. Right here, first off, I want to go ahead and say my linebacker right here is way too tight. I have to constantly get on him about this, but he's got to be splitting the crotch of that guard. But we'll get the feel for it right here. Right here, the nose is slanting opposite of the back. So he's going to slant opposite, boom, fit. So we see this linebacker's cross fitting the A gap in the blue shirt. And then my backside backer right here to the back is playing cut back to quarterback. And then he sees he ain't got the ball, keeps falling over the top, boom, they're both going to the quarterback. Another example right here, away from it, boom, he gets obviously I use my hat because can't have a ball. But right here, he's sitting. He needs to sit a little bit longer. He's coming down here a little quick. We'll keep working it. He'll get better at it. Right here, we see the A gap open up. He's cutting it vertically. They got a combo, they better combo our 4 technique here. If they don't, he'll be blowing it up. But he should sit. He's an initial guy, the blue shirt, the mic here, if you'll call him that. He's going to cross-fit it, blow it up. He's secondary here and primary for the fall off and the quarterback. Another example here, just reading the quarterback, going over the top of it. All right. Got a back call here. Notice he's quicker downhill in the A gap. Boom. Our nose is going to sit in that A gap and hold it. He's going to blow it up. He's sitting, and he falls in and helps make the play. Just simple reads just to work the zone. Right here, see a little cut back right here. He's quick in the A gap. It's a little quick right here. Didn't get the start of the video right here. He sees the A gap. He needs to be a little lower, working his shimmy step right here. But he sees the A open. He's getting downhill in that A gap. He cuts it back. He's scraping on the top. They both fit right there on the running back. Same thing here. Same concept on this one, except quarterback. So that's his primary cutback quarterback, and he's falling over for secondary support. Here's some examples. I got some ones from this year and some from a few years back. I got 27s in on this one, a little bit more prototypical Will linebacker as far as his height and everything. His stance never really was amazing. Right here, we were jumping back and forth between 3-3 and 3-4 this year right here, but it's more backs deep. Obviously, we're working that too. I didn't mention this, but anytime we're playing a zone team, they see a deep back there. Watch inside zone. It gets even, pass, outside zone, fast flow. Just pre-snap reads there that you're constantly want your guys to remind themselves or remind each other of. Right here, you see 12. He opens that way. He's got cut back quarterback, plays down the line, boom. 27 is reading it out. He sees his secondary support coming over the top. Work. Get over the top. Boom. Better tackle there. Footwork and height. That's 12 right there, younger. He had to play guard that year. So this one right here, my guy, so gets cracked. right here. Fit. Boom, it gets cracked, but he's playing it the way he's supposed to play it. This is more of a 3-3-ish, but it's the same deal. He's just the A-gap fitter. He's the cutback quarterback fitter. Same concept here, just different. Does a good job right here. He's cutting the A-gap. He's scraping back, and they both vice. Corner's got to do a little better job of replacing that crack. Maybe let them know crack. We talked about that on intent. He knew. Right here again, more 3-3-ish, but same concept. We slant to the back here. A-gap opens. He fits it. Boom. He's holding backside. We're blitzing front side. But same little concept there of fitting the zone. Right here, Calhoun. Let's get a little end zone view of it. Right here, we're slanting away from the back. He does a good job of cutting it off. Number 1 here, he's going to cross fit the A-gap. 12 is going to sit and then fold back in. Boom. Sees A-gap, boom, there he fits. Everybody on the tackle right there. Good footwork, good eyes. Knowing what's coming. We're talking right now, zone. He's cross-fitting. Good shuffle feet right there. Straight feet, a little bit better tackle out of both of them, but we got him on the ground. That's pretty good running back. Calhoun, he still got him, but right here is another really good view of it. This is against Central. Now, Central, it was hard to get a read on their zone because the way they play their running back here. But we knew they were going to run it. Right here, he gets a little far upfield for the back, but then he works down the line and then the outside linebacker secondary support. But we can look right here at number 1. Let's see, right there, we cut the zone off at 2. 1's cross-fitting. A little late Ganola keeps using his hands, keeps fighting. 12's playing the cutback to the quarterback. He sees the ball on the ground. That's probably why he came up the field. And we're all flowing to the football. So that's what I got. Probably went a little long there. But if you want to contact me or you want this, or I guess it's going to be live, but whatever, if anybody needs anything, that's my information right there. And enjoyed talking to you.
Absolutely, Coach. That was great. Exciting to see. One thing we try to do on here is have some real talk and some real things you can do. And I think everybody's got linebackers. Everybody can use some drills,
And I like when I go somewhere, I want people to just get like straight to the drill work, the points, the stuff that I can use.
Right.
You get a lot of speakers that they just want to talk and like, name drop. Some speakers can be. And I just wanted to get something that maybe somebody can use. And they might just get one thing out of it. They may get a few things, but they might be, I already do that. Well, that's great. But, there's something they might get out of that.
Yeah, if you need Coach, feel free to reach out to them. And, man, I really appreciate it. See why you guys are good. Very fundamental football team. Very fundamentally sound. I've seen you play. Anybody that hadn't seen you play can see it now. So thanks a lot for talking to me, Coach. I appreciate you. And good luck this coming year, man.
Thank you.
Take care.